This guy was actually on Nickelodeon. You were at Nickelodeon, huh?
Yeah.
For how long?
For poetry?
Yeah, the one on Nick, right? Nickelodeon?
Yes.
What was your name? What's your name?
Tyler?
Tyler?
How do I meet him? Get a box of coconut macaroons. That's how he likes to be paid. Go to the lunchroom bulletin board and leave a note. Then he'll contact you.
From stardom to the streets, the journey of Tylor Chase. At 15 years old, Tylor Chase achieved the dream of millions of young people. He starred in a Nickelodeon series. For 3 seasons, from 2004 to 2007, his face was recognized by millions of children and teenagers across America. But 20 years later, Tylor lives on the streets of California. This is not just the story of an actor who lost fame. It's the story of how our system fails young stars and mental health. Are you enjoying this story about Tylor Chase? We're very close to reaching 1,000 subscribers, and your support right now truly makes a difference. Here's something important. 94.8% of the people watching these videos are not subscribed yet. If you're one of them, take just 1 second and subscribe. It's free, it means a lot to us, and it helps this channel grow so we can continue bringing you timeless stories from TV shows and legends we still miss, or those who go unnoticed today. Let's reach this goal together this year, and don't forget, at the end of the video, there are more stories waiting for you. Thank you for being here. Born on September 6, 1989 in Arizona, Tylor Chase moved with his family to the Los Angeles County area and began acting as a teenager in the early 2000s. He became known for playing Martin Qwerly, a recurring character in the Nickelodeon comedy series Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide, which followed the lives of middle school students. For 3 years, he was part of something bigger than himself. He was the smart, talkative kid who appeared on screens, bringing laughter and identification to an entire generation. But when the cameras stopped filming in 2007, reality hit hard. In addition to his work on Ned's Declassified, Chase appeared in the television series Everybody Hates Chris in 2005 and played young Adam in the 2007 independent film Good Time Max, directed by and starring James Franco. He also provided voice work for the video game L.A. Noire in 2011. But these opportunities were sporadic, and the career that seemed so promising at 15 simply stalled. The momentum disappeared, and Tylor found himself facing something many former child actors know well: the void after fame. In 2014, Tylor shared something deeply personal through a personal YouTube channel and live poetry performances. He wrote and recited a poem titled Bipolar, followed by a series of videos called Bipolar Vlogs, where he addressed his experiences with bipolar disorder and isolation. The words were raw and painful. "I'm chained into my bedroom by the gravity of bipolar. Perhaps I am doomed. Perhaps I have done nothing. Perhaps I am nothing." These weren't just poetic metaphors. They were cries for help from someone fighting an invisible enemy he barely understood. Tylor continued posting similar material until at least 2021, using art as a way to process his pain and his condition. After leaving the entertainment industry, Chase moved to Georgia to live with his father, attempting to reinvent himself creatively. Away from Hollywood, away from expectations, away from the spotlight that once shone on him, Tylor sought other ways to express his creativity. In 2020, he self-published 2 fantasy books under the pen name Shrine Tylor. The first, released in January, was called A Vampire's Salvation, Shrine and Ellen, The Tales of Shrine Book 1, and the second in July titled So Be It, Says Jehovah, Shrine and Ellen Book 2. Tylor both followed a magical painter who defeats a vampire king and ascends to heaven, themes that mirrored his own search for escape and meaning. He also continued uploading poetry readings and narrated chapters from his books online until late 2021. But behind the creativity, instability was growing. Tylor arrived in Riverside, California, where his mother works as a realtor, about 7 to 9 years ago. The hope was to find stability, perhaps rebuild his life near family. But the stability he sought continued to slip through his hands. Over time, gradually, he began spending more and more time on the streets. The transition wasn't abrupt, but a slow and painful descent into a reality no one desires. In September 2025, videos of Tylor Chase living on the streets of Riverside went viral on TikTok. The images shocked the world. A 36-year-old man with a worn appearance sitting on the sidewalk, being filmed by a cell phone. "Weren't you on Disney Channel?" asks the person filming. "Nickelodeon, Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide," Tylor responds, with a clarity that contrasts with his situation. The shock was global. How could someone who brought joy to millions, who was recognized on the streets, who had a moment of glory, be in such a situation? But going viral brought more than awareness. It brought judgment, rampant speculation, and in some cases, cruel exploitation of someone in their most vulnerable moment. Subsequent coverage noted that the clip sparked concern about his well-being and prompted online discussion about the challenges faced by former child actors and about filming homeless people for social media. There was something deeply disturbing about turning someone's suffering into viral content, into entertainment for the masses who once consumed his childhood in the same way. When the Daily Mail found him in December 2025, Tylor openly discussed his substance use. He said he likes to vape and takes multiple medications including Prozac, Adderall, Sudafed, Wellbutrin and Zoloft, which he said were prescribed by a psychiatrist. Curiously, he denied having any diagnosed mental health conditions, despite his own poems and videos from previous years explicitly discussing his bipolar disorder. When offered food, he declined and made a different request. "I could use maybe a joint or a bong. Do you guys smoke weed?" he asked. Looking ahead, he said he was considering leaving California completely. "I'm not really active homeless at this time. I'm thinking that I would like to go see my dad relatively shortly in the state of Georgia," he explained. "I have the whole setup to stay out there, a room out there hopefully. Probably a housing assistance program in Georgia, most likely." But reducing Tylor to just drug use is ignoring the devastating complexity of his situation. There's uncontrolled bipolar disorder. There's chronic housing instability. There's a system that has repeatedly failed. There's an industry that used him as a child and discarded him as an adult. There are barriers to accessing consistent mental health care. There's stigma. There's denial. There's a web of intertwined factors that transformed a smiling teenager into a man on the streets. Tylor's mother, Paula Moisio, has taken a firm stance against public fundraising. After a GoFundMe campaign raised $1,200 for Chase earlier in the year, she requested it be taken down. "Tylor needs medical attention, not money. But he refuses it," she wrote. She added, "I appreciate your effort, but money would not be a benefit to him. I have gotten him several phones, but he loses them within a day or two. He can't manage money for his meds by himself." The words of a desperate mother reveal a painful truth that many families face. You can love someone intensely, do everything in your power, and still not be able to save them. Help only works when the person is ready to accept it, and forcing someone rarely brings lasting change. The viral footage of Chase sparked emotional reactions from his former Ned's Declassified co-stars. Daniel Curtis Lee described the moment he learned about Chase's situation. "There was some bad news that I received earlier this week about our dear friend Tylor Chase. It was a lot to process for me," he said, calling the video scary. Lee admitted feeling conflicted. When I first saw it, I was angry because I was like, why put a camera on someone's face in hard times? He questioned. Lee's anger was understandable. There's something deeply voyeuristic and exploitative about filming vulnerable people without their real, informed consent, turning their suffering into consumable content. Devon Werkheiser, who played protagonist Ned Bigby in the series, also spoke out. He told TMZ, Tyler was a sensitive, sweet, and kind kid. Seeing what's happening to him is painful beyond words for those who knew him when he was young, full of potential and promise. But Devon also recognizes that Tyler is an adult, and while they can offer resources, love, and support, they cannot live his life for him. Tyler's story is not unique. Lindsay Lohan, Amanda Bynes, Macaulay Culkin, Jake Lloyd, and countless others. The list of child stars who struggled after fame is long and devastatingly consistent. Hollywood takes children, transforms them into marketable products, extracts value from them during their most vulnerable years, and when they're no longer profitable, discards them without a safety net, without a support system, without preparation for life after the spotlight. Child actors face unique pressures: loss of privacy from an early age, loss of normal childhood, identity completely tied to a role or character, and often financial exploitation by adults who should be protecting them. When fame ends, and it usually ends abruptly, without warning, without smooth transition, they don't have the emotional or practical tools to deal with this profound loss of identity and purpose. Adding pre-existing mental health conditions or those developed due to stress, the combination can be absolutely devastating. In December 2025, someone who intimately understands this journey decided to act. Shaun Weiss, star of The Mighty Ducks, knows this dark path personally. He himself struggled with severe addiction and lived on the streets. His own arrest photos shocked the world years ago. But Shaun has been in recovery for years, having celebrated significant sobriety milestones. And when he saw Tyler's viral video, he didn't just feel empathy, he acted. Shaun posted on social media, "I have received many messages about Tylor Chase. I reached out to some friends of mine, and we have a bed for him at a detox. And we have a place for him to go and get long-term treatment at the 1111 Recovery Facility in San Clemente, California. All we need to do now is find him. I'm not in Los Angeles, or I would go look for him myself." He asked that if anyone could get a face-to-face with Chase, to send a message so they could get him help in time for the holiday. But here's the hardest truth to accept, the truth that breaks hearts and frustrates even the best-intentioned efforts. All the help in the world, all the treatment centers, all the available beds, all the love and resources don't matter if the person isn't ready. Tyler has to want to be found. He has to want to accept help. He has to be in a mental and emotional place where he believes recovery is possible and worth trying. And no one can force him to get there. This is the cruel nature of addiction and untreated mental illness. They rob the person of the ability to see a way out, even when the exit is right in front of them. In December 2025, despite all the offers of help, Tyler was still on the streets of Riverside. He told the Daily Mail he's thinking about going back to Georgia, to stay with his father, where there's a room waiting for him, where perhaps there's the possibility of a housing assistance program. "Life always gets better," he said, surprising words of hope coming from someone who knows darkness so intimately. But hope alone isn't enough. Hope doesn't provide accessible mental health treatment. Hope doesn't change laws that allow exploitation of child actors. Hope doesn't build support systems for people transitioning from fame to normal life. We need real systemic change. We need better laws protecting child actors, ensuring their earnings are protected, that their education continues, that their mental health is prioritized. We need universal access to mental health care, especially for serious disorders like bipolar that require ongoing treatment and medication. We need specific transition programs for when fame ends, helping young adults develop identities beyond their roles, skills beyond acting, purpose beyond the spotlight. We need to stop consuming children's childhoods as disposable entertainment, applauding their talent as children, and then turning our backs when they become troubled adults. Tyler's former colleagues haven't given up on him. Daniel Curtis Lee, Devon Werkheiser and others are working behind the scenes to ensure that when Tyler is ready, and everyone hopes that day comes soon, the resources will be there waiting for him. This is all that can be done now. Keep the door open, keep the light on, hope that eventually he finds his way back. It's a painful, frustrating, and anguishing wait, but it's the only option when someone isn't ready to accept help. Tylor Chase's story isn't over. He's 36 years old. That's young. There's time for recovery, for healing, for rebirth, for a second or third or 10th chance. Shaun Weiss proved it's possible to come back from the abyss. Others have proven it too. But it requires more than individual goodwill. It requires a system that prioritizes people over profits, health over fame, humanity over disposable entertainment. It requires a society willing to invest in mental health with the same urgency it invests in entertainment. It requires that we stop treating vulnerable human beings as viral content and start treating them with dignity, privacy, and compassion. The question isn't just, what happened to Tylor Chase? That question has been answered. He faced what countless former child actors have faced: systemic exploitation, lack of support, untreated mental illness, addiction, and a devastating fall from fame to invisibility. The real question, the urgent question, the question that should keep us awake at night is, what are we willing to do so this doesn't happen to the next child under the spotlight? How many more stories like this do we need to witness before we fundamentally change how we treat young artists? How many more lives need to be destroyed before we prioritize protection over production, well-being over box office, humanity over hashtags? Tylor Chase once wrote in his 2014 poem, "Perhaps I am doomed. Perhaps I have done nothing. Perhaps I am nothing." But he also said recently, even while living on the streets, even while facing demons most of us can't imagine, life always gets better. In this contradiction, in this tension between despair and hope, lives all the complexity of human experience. Tylor is not nothing. He's not doomed. He's a human being who deserves help, dignity, and the chance to write new chapters in his story. Are you enjoying this story about Tylor Chase? We're very close to reaching 1,000 subscribers, and your support right now truly makes a difference. Here's something important. 94.8% of the people watching these videos are not subscribed yet. If you're one of them, take just 1 second and subscribe. It's free, it means a lot to us, and it helps this channel grow so we can continue bringing you timeless stories from TV shows and legends we still miss, or those who go unnoticed today. Let's reach this goal together this year. And don't forget, at the end of the video, there are more stories waiting for you. Thank you for being here. The question is whether we, as a society, are willing to give him and others like him that chance, or if we'll continue just watching, filming, and sharing their suffering as passing entertainment, forgetting them as quickly as we consume them until the next viral video captures our fragmented attention.